Because the reality is most people don't really know what you do and they don't really know what you offer until you tell them. And even when you tell them the first time, they're not going to remember. You have to tell them like 17 times statistically. We know this. So I started saying this whole story and I was like, yeah, I'm just really like, these are the projects that I love. And like, these are the ones that I was like, I could kind of let go of. But I think we're coasting in this spot because everything feels unpredictable. And I just want to serve the clients that we have really well and hope that those turn into referrals. And hope that the people that we serve well then tell other people to come work with us. And as soon as I said that, the girl I was talking to was like, wait a second, I could hire you. Greetings and welcome back to the Kiss My Aesthetic podcast. We've got a repeat guest. We love to have her back. It's Caitlyn from Dental Hygiene Nation. Welcome, Caitlyn.
Thanks for having me. As always, I love hopping on these podcasts. I feel like we could do this once a week if it were up to you.
For sure.
Because
oh my gosh.
If I could go over on our meetings all the time.
Literally. If it weren't like the nitty gritty personal information of your business, if we could record our weekly meetings and share it with people, I think people would get so much insight from them.
Oh my God.
And so much growth since we first started working together. But for anyone who doesn't know you or hasn't listened to the other episodes, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and who you help?
Yes, I'm Caitlyn Cochran in the transition of possibly changing my name. Previously, Caitlyn Rassetter, I got married. I own two businesses. I own founder and CEO of Dental Hygiene Nation, a dental lifestyle brand that celebrates dentistry through apparels, accessory, and our awesome subscription box. And then I'm also newly co-owner of Dental Hygiene Seminars, where we help dental hygiene students pass their national board exam, which I was also a student of there. So it comes full circle to be able to help on the fun side of Dental Hygiene Nation that really celebrates the pride of our profession. And then also the beginning of the journey in a more studious, educational way. So the fact that I can blend both of those, I just love what I do, really.
Your entrepreneurship founder origin story is one of my favorites. And I always give as an example, like when we're talking to new clients, they say, oh, do you work with anyone on retainer? I say, yeah, there's this incredibly niche business called Dental Hygiene Nation. And I was at a wedding literally last weekend where the bride was a dentist, worked in a dental practice with her entire family. And my sister turned them on to Dental Hygiene Nation. And then I've gotten new clients that are like, oh, my neighbor gets a subscription box. That's how I found you. Like the reach of your group is crazy. Every time I go to the dentist, I bring them all kinds of goodies from DHN. So it's like, it's a far reaching thing. But how did this whole thing even start? It's such a fun like origin story.
Yeah, because I forgot to mention that I used to be a dental hygienist. I graduated from West Virginia University in 2014. And while I was in school, Twitter was the hot social media at the time. So Instagram was barely getting traction. Facebook had been on the market for a while. Twitter was new. So that's where my friends were hanging out, listening, like watching what other friends were saying, other companies. And I noticed there were multiple accounts that were more cheeky for nurses, doctors, talking about the struggles of their profession. And I immediately searched, oh my God, is there one for dental hygiene? I'm newly in the program. I'm so obsessed with what I'm studying. And there wasn't. So I'm like, I need to create this. So I immediately created dental hygiene problems on Twitter. I didn't even tell my classmates. I kept it a secret for a really long time and it blew up kind of nationally. It was really what got us on the market to start this community. So everything started with a community online. Then my classmates found out and I actually almost got kicked out of hygiene school for it. So my director brought me in and they didn't really know what it was. So they thought I was slandering the school and they thought I was talking about just school things. I'm like, no, it's everything dental hygiene. It's everything we're struggling with. And people engaged with it. So one thing led to another. Luckily, they let me keep the Twitter page because after I graduated hygiene school, I became a hygienist and realized finding full-time was not as easy as I thought it would be, especially in my area. I'm from Pittsburgh. And I was lucky enough to work next to a hygienist that was more senior than me. So she was probably in her 40s at the time. And she kind of asked me what my 10-year plan was. And I never really, like you think about it, but you don't truly think about it. You don't think about the boring stuff. You think, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to work, and I'm going to make money. And then your timeline kind of stops there. And maybe your personal life timeline kicks in of, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have kids. But what is your true 10-year plan? And she said, what about health insurance? What about PTO? What if you get injured? And I'm like, what are you talking about? So in hygiene, with dental hygiene, since we work for small practices, a lot of times health insurance is not provided. We don't get PTO. And that's where you see a lot of these small practices hiring part-time hygienists that work at multiple offices that they get around PTO and health insurance. So it's tough. I mean, they're small businesses. I can relate to why they do what they do. But at the end of the day, that's not the career path that I felt safe in. I wanted to work towards promotions. Like once you graduate hygiene school, you really don't learn, you learn new skills, but it's more, you get better at your trade than more so corporate promotions that are offered to you. So the scale is a little bit different and I like to work towards something. So I thought, well, if I'm going to try something new, I'm going to try it now. So I try to get into dental sales to go after more of a corporate promotion, health insurance things. I thought now's the time because I'm not stuck in any dental office that I'm in love with. And they would not hire me. So I would think like with my hygiene degree, I was,
Sure.
I know everything about hygiene. I can sell the shit out of these products. No, they wanted sales experience, which it's a lot different today. They definitely see the value of hiring a hygienist, but I actually sold copiers for a year. So while I was working at Rico, selling copiers, getting my sales experience, I was building Dental Hygiene Nation on the back end, still continuing to grow the Twitter page. I also was self-taught graphic design. So I thought, hey, I feel like we should put some of these tweets on t-shirts. Like, I think it'd be really fun. I don't know why, I just love seeing art and wearing what I'm proud of. I love sporting, even going to Target and like buying the shirts that have Diet Coke on it or something.
Sure,
like, it's just fun. So we started putting those designs on apparel and it took off too. So that's when we kind of I shifted to a website, Instagram, and that's when Dental Hygiene Nation was born. And at my year anniversary of selling copiers, I said, here's my dental sales job waiting for me. And I quit and went full-time Dental Hygiene Nation. I did temp about once a week for a couple years, still keeping up with dental hygiene, but soon enough that was not sustainable. I did not have time. So I've been 10 years. We started Dental Hygiene Nation in 2015. So it was about 10 years this year that
oh my
it's
gosh,
been going
we need to
strong.
make a moment out of that now that I think of it. I was like, we need to do a 10-year anniversary something. Such a milestone. So cool, again, to like, you never know where you're going to end up, right? And I think what's the coolest thing about Dental Hygiene Nation is like, it's truly a community brand. And you've talked on the other podcast episodes, like more specifically about a subscription box and about the apparel and like the design and aesthetics. But I want to spend some time today talking about kind of just like the mission and the vision. And like at the end of the day, what does it mean to belong to like Dental Hygiene Nation? Like, who is this person? What are they looking for? And what are they finding with you guys that they can't find anywhere else?
I just related to what I was struggling to find is community. And what kind of led to really the more product side of Dental Hygiene Nation, shifting it from this community of dental hygiene problems, which focused on the struggles. I then realized there was a lack of community as far as purchasing things or just a company. Let's put it that way. There was a company. It lacked companies that truly just focused on the product innovation of dental professionals. We're kind of lost in the mix of medical nurses. I use FIGS as an example every time I talk about my story because I remember getting emails from FIGS. It was new on the market, and these scrub companies, sometimes I don't even celebrate Dentist Day or dental hygiene. Like dental hygienists get an entire month. There's National Dental Hygiene Month, and I don't know if they celebrate it, but you see Nurses Week all the time, like massive sales. They're there with the numbers. I get why they spend more time with them, but I'm like, hey, we're here too, and we require a totally different outfit and uniform. Can you make some innovative stuff for us? So I wanted to feel seen in the dental industry because I was proud of what we do, and we're not nurses, we're not doctors, but we make up a majority of the healthcare system, and our lives are totally different. I mean, consumers and patients could barely spell hygienist 10 years ago.
I struggle still sometimes with it.
Like saying my company name to like Verizon. They're like, yeah. And then a lot of times they didn't know who they were seeing for their teeth cleaning. So we've come a long way, but it takes the education and talking about it and companies talking about it, consumers, patients, everybody. So what you asked was, what did you ask? What were we
Just
getting
kind of
to?
the mission and the vision of the whole thing. Like what's the stuff like, or the feel good, or the little moments where you're like, okay, yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like this is helping
Right.
people. Can you think of those, like the person who is you 10 years ago? Like
Yeah.
what's that transition moment when they figure out, or they walk up to your booth at a board review, or they come across the Instagram? What are you envisioning that they're feeling by like starting to interact with the brand?
Yeah, I think now is different than 10 years ago when Dental Hygiene Nation was new. Now students today don't know any different. So I
True.
notice I have to kind of reintroduce our why, because they go into hygiene school. They actually start following us before they even get into hygiene school. So they're
Aha, okay.
falling in love with us before they even begin. And we could be even inspiring them to visit or explore dentistry. So they're getting hyped up like
Yep.
before, during, after, where before when I first started the company, you were kind of on your own. You didn't know what you were getting into. Maybe your dad is a dentist or you loved your dentist experience, where now it's being celebrated in more places to get people to the profession and to join in the movement of how excited we are about teeth. We all love, like, we all start with this love of teeth, but we don't realize how many other people love
Right.
teeth as much as we do. And it just gives me chills even thinking about it, because when I see my hygiene friends, my school, like my classmates, even my customers, my patients, it's this unknown language. We went through the struggles of dental school, hygiene school, and we weirdly obsess over these little bones in our mouths. And it's something we can't explain, but we all get it. And we all
Right.
get it together, but other people don't. And this is where Dental Hygiene Nation, where I want to bring that community of, we're nerdy, we're weird, we love our teeth, we love science, but we love being ourselves. It's a fun place to be, I guess.
Yeah, I think when I think of Dental Hygiene Nation is there's like a joy to it, right? It's like, and maybe now to your point, there's more of a cultural shift towards like embracing your niche thing that you obsess over ever more than ever before. Like with algorithms, like TikTok, for example, like I'm an art history girly. And as soon as I come across somebody who's sharing any type of video on art history, I'm like, oh, immediate follow. Like, because you see each other, right? Like you just like, okay, I know
Yeah.
we can talk. I can drop a reference, you're going to know it. I can talk about a certain museum, like you're going
Yes.
to know it. Like, where you just kind of have that insider knowledge. And I think it's such a beautiful way, because of social media, to like stay connected with people and things that you care about. And then like translating that over to like physical product, and how people then enjoy or celebrate or share that they're enthusiastic about what they do. Like everyone loves people who are enthusiastic about what they do. That's like, it's so refreshing, right? Like when you meet someone who's like a really, really good blank, you're like, oh, hell yeah, like rock with it, right?
Mhm.
Like it just kind of has that
Yeah.
feeling. But I think, again, translating that into more of like the physical product side, and then actually I'm sure seeing people in person at board seminars is extra satisfying.
Oh, yeah. Going to trade shows and events is a lot. There's a lot of pre-planning. There's a lot of getting there. There's a lot of shipping logistics. And then like it's this rush to get there. And then when I'm there, I'm like, I need to do this every month, because
Yeah.
seeing and talking to our customers and the students, especially, it reignites the fire every single time of why
Right.
I'm doing what I'm doing and why we create the products that we do. And they give me so many good ideas. You see their feedback, and being an e-commerce website, you don't realize how valuable that is to not have that brick and mortar experience every day, to see people's reaction. It kind of gives you the hope that you need to keep going of, yeah, you're doing the right thing.
Now that we have kind of the fluff of it covered, right? Like the feel good and the why, which I think we understand by now, let's get into some of the like the nitty gritty. Why do you feel like the last 6 to 8 months has been particularly difficult as a business owner? I know we're all feeling it, but from your
Oh.
perspective, why has it been so hard?
Well, going into this year, our goal was to clean up SOPs, aka standard operating procedures, and really get into a rhythm of, this is what we want, this is what we do, and create something that helps my team make better decisions, because we're going to think through the decision beforehand and roll it out. We were just getting there where I felt like this is the rhythm. And then boom, costs changed overnight. Like usually economy changes over time. You see sales start to dip. You see costs start to rise. Now coming off of last year with inflation, my cost of goods went up almost double in a year. So we were already feeling the yearly change of inflation. Then came the tariffs. So we were watching the news. We didn't know how to be prepared. But when we got our first bill, we're like, okay, this is real, where we have to work this into the budget. How do we do that when our subscription products change quarterly and it's not very set in stone? So
because
we've
what's
had to rework
interesting
everything.
Yes, what's interesting about Dental Hygiene Nation is like you're not like a typical boutique model where you're like carrying wholesale products for other brands. Like you're truly creating individual new products every quarter, new designs, new look, new feel, like everything truly, like for the most part on your site, I'd say 85, 90, and correct me if I'm wrong, 90% of it is like stuff that you spec'd and you had made. And so that's the quantities are the quantities, and that's what we're going with. And some things sell better than others. And so we're always playing with these different variables and triggers. But yeah, then you come in there and you drop a bomb of like all of a sudden the thing that costs this now costs that. It does. It changes the landscape. Is that accurate?
And luckily, we just thread the needle because we were just receiving our summer box products when the new regulations hit. So I'm thinking if we would have been in shipment, like in stuff was at sea on its way here and just landed in the States in that interim where we paid X at purchase and then at shipment, the price went here. So when we make these budgets, we're basing these decisions on products based on what the customer wants, obviously all the psychological things, but also obviously it comes down to what can we afford for the budget. And that was locked in. I mean, if it were to go up at delivery, that would have been even worse. So luckily things were already delivered, but now we're in fall trying to decide on fall's items. And it added at least a month or more to our decision-making process, which that wasn't budgeted either. So now we're losing time. We are unsure of what these products are going to cost because things today are going to still be different in the fall. Costs are going up. So we're probably going to lose subscribers just from the economy. So there's already so many variables with the subscription box, but now there's these unknown variables that I'm guessing. I'm literally guessing on, I hope we can get close. And we have to hope we're in the green. And it's tough to swallow that because I feel like in business, usually you have the numbers to figure it out. But it's not that easy right now. Hopefully it's a season.
I almost want to put myself in the perspective of someone who's like a subscriber. And I feel like everything you just said, my first question is like, well, why aren't 100% of your products American made?
That's a great question. I wish they could be. Yeah. The products that we look for don't exist in America yet.
Or ever, or did they ever? Like, this is the thing. It's like, you think of anything that you buy in any store or online, like some component, like in my opinion, we exist in like a global economy where like there are places in other countries that have learned and built manufacturing businesses for the last 25, 30 years that there is not something comparable, a comparable version in the US. Is that what you're finding to be true?
Yes. And the infrastructure is just not there.
Yeah.
America has been outsourcing its manufacturing. So for how many years? Because it was there, the price was there, it is what it is. And I get that we want, ideally as consumers, we want things to be more made in America. I just don't think it's caught up yet because we haven't had to.
And
now things are changing.
Right. And I think a lot of this is on consumer education, right? Like you can get upset at the local, like I live in San Diego. So like the swimwear store down the street from the girl who's starting a swimwear company and she makes a bikini and it costs $127. And you're like, what? $127? I can get a bikini at Target for like $10.99. It's not that the $127 bikini is not of equal quality or that.
Like honestly, no one's getting rich or on it.
I'd prefer, believe me, I'd prefer to be able to be in the like financial situation to be able to drop $127 on a bikini, no problem. But it's not the question of whether that is too expensive. It's why is the $10.99 one $10.99? Like what has to happen in the supply chain? What economies of scale? How many units have to be produced to be able to profit on something that's $10.99? And I think that's what gets lost in a lot of this conversation is like, it's not a factor of like, oh, we'll bring it to the US. It's like, why was it so cheap to do it abroad? And like, if it was
Right.
so cheap to do it abroad, like, what are the things that are happening? So like, even to argue like, okay, well, we're going to bring everything back domestically. We have different, which should be in place, rules and regulations, and people need breaks, and you can't employ children, and we can't like
Yeah.
have all of these. We have rules in place to protect workers in this country, and those should stay.
Right.
That will drive up the cost of goods. Like ethically, yes. Financially, that's what people I don't think are ready for.
And I don't think it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I mean, they don't see it, so they don't think about it. But to even think where your food comes from and like
Totally.
where it's shipped from and how it's sourced. Is it from Mexico? How are they picking it in Mexico?
Mhm.
I mean, people just because they go for the cheapest apple on the shelf, but they don't think why that apple and how that apple got to be cheapest on the shelf. They just want
And-
the cheapest. And I get it. People are thinking about their bottom lines. And
course.
because it's available, they're going to buy it. It's kind of reintroducing a different model, but you have to remove that availability of those cheaper items because the people are always going to go for the cheapest item.
Exactly.
In relative. So, I mean, different consumers, but you educate yourself. It depends on what you're looking for too. So I think even just being a small business, we get picked compared to FabFitFun or Target, and we're also not those, which also they have ethically sourced items that you can shop and get there. But the consumer, we've come a long way because I will say that we get less questions on our customer service. So people are more educated on how things are shipped and how many days and how to add. And I remember when we first started, it was not that easy. People were expecting to get their product
next
like
day
Amazon,
delivery. It's like we are not Amazon, right? Explain how next day, even like the concept of shipping speed, like how you've had to educate your audience on that. Because I think that's a great example of this on a smaller scale, right?
Yeah. So I think it's going to take time, but in the interim, it's scary because you don't know how your consumer is going to respond. And we don't know where and how to be successful. I mean, it's hard to gauge. Are we in budget for our next season? It's hard to tell, like with all these variables. Before we got on the call, I actually thank God for ChatGPT. So it is really helping me figure out how to adequately change our budget calculator based on the new variables and do it quickly because that's how quickly things are changing. So without it, like it's a math equation that I couldn't have figured out. And that's being a small business. I don't have access to CFOs or analysts or stats. I'm just figuring it out. So it provides a little bit of safety for me to be able to fact check of, is this right? Is this where I need to be? Is this benchmark? What's this equation? So it's really treating ChatGPT as my CFO. And I feel a little less scared knowing that it's a new equation. I have to just get used to it, but I have to figure out what that equation is because our old equation doesn't work anymore.
So much of what you and I have been talking about over the last few weeks on our meetings is like, I don't think you're the only one that's feeling that way. Like you scroll TikTok, get on Instagram, you see these businesses that are explaining like, yeah, okay, great. There's a company and I'm going to forget the name of it, but she makes the shoes that you can like snap off the heel and put like a high heel or you can put a flat, right? And she's like, okay, you guys say, why don't you just make your product in the US? They literally can't make this. Yeah. This is a patented design. I've worked with the same manufacturer in China for 15 years to develop this prototype. I can't bring this domestic. So my whole business is now riding on the fact that like I cannot continue at these rates. And the stat that I pulled kind of off to the side here is that there's going to be $394 billion in dynamic negative revenue effects. That's $394 billion. That's going to it's unfortunately going to squash the small business owners. It's going to squash the people that don't have huge corporate backing, like a Target or a Walmart. It's going to squash the people that are like, hey, I'm trying, like yourself, like you're like, I'm trying to make products for this community that I care about and spread some freaking joy in this crazy world that we live in. And I can't even afford to do so. So I think we were kind of most recently at a crossroads where you're trying to decide, okay, how do we adjust? And I put forward kind of like 3 possibilities of options. And then I was so refreshed to see that the subscription that I pay for here in San Diego, my like wine membership, sent an email that was exactly what I had recommended to you. So recap it for me, like, because I know that you're always, always, always thinking of your audience first and thinking of like their students. They are young professionals. They don't have crazy amounts of disposable income. I want to keep it as affordable as possible for them. And I hear you on that 100%. But talk to me about how you approach price changes and maybe how I might have changed your mind on how to increase prices in a fair way.
Yeah. I'm always afraid to change prices because I know that I was my customer. I get it. So I think I get a little too emotional when I think about it because my mission is to spread the joy and the business side just kind of comes second. So if I could give away these boxes for free, I would, obviously. So when it comes to figuring out the pricing structure, change is always scary, especially when it's a subscription. So they're used to it being this much, and any change, they're going to think, do I need this? So you have to think through I just picture a flow chart in my head of if we change it to this price, what does that mean to the customer? What products are we delivering? Are we delivering value? Are we delivering quality? And kind of walking around every single, if we raise it to 37, if we raise it to 38, if we raise it, every single dollar comes at a different decision-making process. And kind of threading through which one is the least path of resistance, but also what is valuable. Because I think I tend to sell myself short too. We are providing value, and subscription comes with a lot of weight. You have retention. It's not just a collection that you can restart and try again next year. You have to keep the customers happy and coming back. So there's a lot of touchy review points that keep that customer there. In raising prices, I would rather not. But I know
Of course
to stay in business, you have to. And this is where I think knowledge is power. Seeing how other stores do it, I think I just need to educate myself. So if I understand how, why, when, I'm going to feel more confident that it's okay to raise this price. So I think I needed to give myself confidence to believe that it was okay. Because the math is always there. It's
right.
But the math sometimes doesn't think about my customer. So I have to constantly think math, psychology all the time. And the answer lies somewhere in the middle. But that's where we have long meetings with the team because it's not easy black and white. We have to weigh one way or the other. And some boxes are more expensive than others because we felt that was the right move.
Yeah.
But seeing that email that you sent me, it just gave me hope and proof that other companies do it. And because I'm figuring this out on my own. I mean, there's not a lot of subscription behind the scenes there's no blueprint to say how to do this.
Right.
So seeing that someone else did it just said, it's okay. And people are going to be accepting of it. Because you can't take it back either. Because once you change, it's done. It's out there.
True.
Like you can't say never mind. So I notice I just have to really, really think through before hitting go. And that's scary. I mean, hitting go is a big deal.
I think to recap that email, there were some points that were made. Like there's a really clear formula from my marketing brain, right? Like I opened it. Basically, the scenario is I was paying $35 a month. I was getting a bottle of wine and a free glass every single day I went in. I've had this membership since 2016. If you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me tell the story before. And what I thought was so brilliant about this business model is that because I got in early, I got grandfathered in under that rate. So I've been paying the 2016 rate for 9 years. The rate has increased, the benefits have decreased, but my membership has remained the same. And I would tell everyone about it because I'm like, I love that. I love that if you're in on the ground floor, you get the best perks, right? So it's not like you have to earn status. It's not like the airlines, right? Where it's like you have to fly this many miles to get to platinum level. Like, no, if you believed in us and you supported us financially in the early days, we want to reward that. And I always thought that was so smart. But in the email that they sent, they basically, the first thing that they did was acknowledge that. You've been with us since the beginning. We want to thank you so much for being part of our community since blah, blah, blah date, da, 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 da. That being said, we are going to be increasing your rate. So it's going to go from 35 to 45 a month. Okay, acknowledge it. Great. And with that, here's what the perks are laid out super clean. And then at the end, it says, basically, as a reminder, all new memberships start at $55. Let it be known that you are still getting a benefit here. Even though it is an increase, you are still getting something there. And I sent it to you immediately because yes, this is it. This is it. Because I think with your subscription box and with your products in general, your business has improved. Same with the wine club.
Yes.
The locations have improved. The wines have improved. They do pizza night and they do game night and they have live music. The benefit of being a member of this wine club, they could have gone under, but the benefit of being part of this community has improved over time. It's been worth the investment. So on the first note, I am so happy to subscribe at a higher rate. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. The second part is like really like spelling out what's clear. And then the third part of it is like, hey, by the way, you're still getting the benefit. So I think with your audience, it's like, if we can get to the point of like explaining and educating them on how much this business has improved, and even since I've known you in the last 3-4 years, how the products have improved, how the design has improved, how the customer service has improved, how the community reach has improved, the social media, like all of it, like being part of this is benefit to you. And then also calling out like, hey, these are going to be the changes. But also just for a reminder, like new subscribers will be at a higher rate because again, they don't know it differently. And you're also rewarding those longtime fans and followers. And I think that that's the perfect recipe for how you start to approach this type of change. What do you think of all that?
Yes. And I think it doesn't totally take away the scariness of it, but at least gives you a structure on how. But then comes the how much and inventory. And so I think why I get so afraid of making that plunge is changing the price also leads to unsubscribed, which is fine. That's what you're going to get. But now you have to fluctuate inventory to meet that. So it's like sending this email is like one piece of the scary puzzle, but at least you can deliver it in the best way that you can. So at least now I know how to say it. I know the how.
Yeah. And in that email, you notice they didn't like blame, I don't know the reason that they went from 35 to 45.
Yeah.
Like they didn't say, well, corks now cost this and glass now costs that and shipping is now going to cost XYZ and, we have to pay everybody's healthcare. Like, well, no. That's, as the customer, that's almost kind of irrelevant to me.
Right.
It's at the end of the day, what's going to be the difference in the charge and what are going to be the difference in my benefits? And so if we can position Dental Hygiene Nation as such, where it's like, what's going to be the difference in the price and what's going to be the difference in the quality? Why would I stay subscribed? Okay, then it's an easier pill to swallow.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's less of a blame game, right? It's less of you're just like there's just less questions because at the end of the day, all that stuff is water under the bridge.
I was just going to point that out that I think as long as you answer all of the questions, it eliminates the fear of the consumer because I feel when they don't know something, immediate feels like big company is attacking me, they're stealing from me, even when they reach out to customer service. Until they're just so afraid they're getting screwed over, is the immediate reaction.
And in some cases they are, though. Like, let's be honest. Corporations will screw you over. Absolutely.
Right. So if you answer all their questions, they're like, oh, okay.
You're a person.
That makes sense. Yeah,
definitely.
So you have to make sure you're answering all of them, though, because if you leave one stone unturned, that's where the panic becomes. Yeah. So that's where you have to really make sure all your bases are covered.
Yeah. As you've heard me say time and time again on this podcast, what worked in 2024 for social media management is not the same as what's going to cut it in 2025. Platforms are shifting, algorithms are chaotic, and keeping up feels like playing whack-a-mole in the wild, wild west. That's exactly why we made our 2025 social media webinar. This is the deck that we actually sent to our clients. It's 65 slides long. And in the 45-minute webinar, I basically walk you through all the platforms, who owns them, their involvement with the current political administration, what are the pros and cons of each platform, what content performs best, as well as what our team would need for strategy, content creation, and posting and engagement to run the strategy on behalf of your brand. So whether you're a small business owner looking to work with us, or you're also a social media manager or creative just trying to get a better grip of the social media landscape, this is a resource you're going to want to take advantage of. You want to head to our website, mkwcreativeco.com/resources. So mkwcreative.co/resources. This is the 2025 social media webinar. And just for you, I included the one-pager reference guide that we've also sent to our clients to really give you the full menu of options in one big flash sheet. So take advantage of it or hit the link in the show notes to get access to our 2025 social media webinar, because it is wild out there and you shouldn't have to figure it out by yourself. Good luck. Enjoy. I think the advantage that you have as a small to medium-sized business, but as a founder owner, is the agility and the access to your community, right? Like you can share a message quickly and to your audience directly. What are the things I've been encouraging you to do in the last few weeks?
And get my face on social media.
Yep. And do you know why though? Like, do you know where that's coming from my perspective?
Oh, yeah. They want to know the person behind the brand. They want to relate to me and why I do what I do and understand the brain behind Dental Hygiene Nation. It's not that I don't want to do it. I feel like I'm at that point when I stopped temping, like substituting dental hygiene. I used to be able to get to it. What, 5 years ago, we used to have a brick and mortar like office in the local town, and we filmed content all the time.
Yeah.
I used to take all the photos. I used to take all of the pictures of all the flat lays, all the product photos, all the videos. And I mean, back then the videos like reels didn't exist. And now I barely can get that on my schedule. So how do I show up for my people amongst the other business owner things that I have to do? Because no matter what, they want to see me. So I have to make time for it. So I just have to figure out that new rhythm of where does that fit in my schedule, and how, what does that look like? Because me filming content 5 years ago is different how I want to show up today. So I want to have more integrity and more like actually deliver value of the message behind the why. And that's not just, I don't want to just get on and throw something together. There's certain contents where you can do that.
Sure. But I think that this is the stuff that no matter, and this is the thing that I wish I could shake all my clients and tell them all the time. There's no way I can do that for you. Even if you paid me a cajillion dollars, there is no way that I can sit in front of the camera and say, hi. Well, maybe now with AI, but even then, like that's missing the point. Like, if I could just get you to let go of it having to feel polished or perfect or like even to perform, this content doesn't even have to perform. It just needs to be you talking to your people and saying, hey, it's me, Caitlyn. I started this business. You love this business. You tagged us in your sweatshirt last weekend. Here's where we're at. And just talk to someone like you talk to them as a friend, like you would FaceTime them, like you would text them. And I think that that's the benefit. That's what people want out of brands now. That's what people want out of founders is they want a chance to feel like you are their friend and they can, because you are, you get them, you see them, you've lived their life, you've walked in their shoes, you've taken the board exams, you've like been that person. So like, even if you feel like it was a long time ago, like you are them. And if to kind of embody that again, or to like, this is a big reason why I have the podcast is someone can put me in their ears and it feels like a phone call. I saw this TikTok that was like, I was in the car with my grandma and she kept looking over at me while I was listening to a podcast and being like, are you okay? And at the end, it's because I realized she thought I was on a group call and they weren't letting me talk. And that's exactly how we want this to feel, right? But this is how we want this to feel, is because we have all these different modalities of communication. If you can be that person that someone comes to regularly, that's like, oh, this is a person that I can learn things from, I can laugh with, I can relate to, and I can support because they're giving me a sense of belonging and a sense of joy about what I do. That's the whole point.
Right. I think because the way I showed up 10 years ago looked totally different the way it does now. So like that sense of belonging that I created, that is not sustainable anymore. So I think it's kind of, that's my generation of, that's how I was showing up.
Right. But it's not sustainable because we haven't made the time in your schedule for you to do it. Right. Like, okay, granted, you can't take all the photos and all the videos.
Well, I just think it's hard to switch gears of what worked then does not work now. That was inherent. Like that was my what I grew up with, where I'm not going through it right now. They need something different. So now it's a transition of how do I show up for the current new customer or just new dental hygienist in their own way? Because I could relate because I went through it. Where now I have to get on their level and it takes a different perspective and getting uncomfortable to change.
Yes. But did we not start the whole podcast with you talking about how you had this mentor that was 10 years older than you in the office that was asking you these hard questions?
Oh, for sure.
Like, I don't know that you need to like embody the new customer or relate to the 22-year-old as much as you need to be like, hey, been there, done that. I'm basically your big sis now. Ask me anything. That's almost the energy I want to inject into you.
That's fine. It's the creating the content part that I'm stuck in my old ways.
Yeah,
is the problem.
We'll get you there.
So I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer.
I don't think you have to be
in a personal way. I love photography. I love product design. I love graphic design. As getting in front of people, it's kind of scary. So having to do that, that's just the way the world is. I'm just not used to that. But that's how the younger generation, they're showing up. They're used to it because they're living it every single day. Where when we were going through hygiene school or college, it was Instagram photos, Twitter, like it was words. So I show up with my words. But now putting my face out there is fine. I just haven't, it's just not my method. It's not how I express myself. I guess if I had to say it, it's not my first instinct to express myself. I would be the person that would write a blog article before I would put a YouTube video out.
Girl, let's do that. Let's get you a Substack. Let's get you an email newsletter or something, a letter from the founder every week on the Instagram. Let's hit the socials with like letter from the founder, Caitlyn. Picture and then slides. Like we posted a huge carousel yesterday that was majority text and it went bonkers on your analytics. Like I think there's space for this. There's all this to say, like I think it's so funny. Your and my dynamic is so interesting because I think like we both could have like maybe been lawyers in another life. Because we're always bringing each other like the opposite and like, well, can you just see it my way? And you're like, well, why can't you see it my way? And like we do this kind of dance with each other. And then every time I feel like I start the call and I apologize. I'm like, I didn't mean to piss you off last week. And you're like, no, I'm not mad. I'm like, okay, great, cool, let's keep going. But I feel
need to see the other side.
I know. And I just see so much potential and there's so much, I think, opportunity here. And I think you don't give yourself enough credit. I think you don't give yourself enough credit as a business owner, as a smart entrepreneur, as just like a girl boss woman, like trying to do everything all the time. And also, I think what plagues us as millennials is like wanting everyone to be happy with us and wanting the person who can't afford the jump from a $35 box to a $45 box, wanting that person to still be happy, even if it's going to come at a cost to your business and your paycheck and your ability to live and exist in this world. Like you're still thinking about that person, which is like the most wonderful quality. And I don't want to squash that by any sense, but it is crippling. Like I do feel like it kind of like you get stuck and I'm just like, gosh, I just want to like catapult you, like pushing a kid out of the pool, right? You're like, come on, like you can get out.
I think I let my company and the mission spoke through the feelings that we delivered through our products. Because that's like when I wear the shirt, that's the feeling. Now I think adding this PR piece, it's just, I'm not used to it where I have to put myself out there because I wanted the stars of my show is the website, is the collections, is the things that you're wearing. So a lot of times I feel rehearsed of like, what do I talk about? And I probably just need practice. But
of course,
I would rather tell my story through the collections and the products than through a video that I feel phony. Like let the product speak for themselves. Let the energy because that's.
But I think, but the counter argument is the community and the products and the quality don't exist without you in it. So like, why not let that lead? Why not let that be part of it?
It was never about me. It was about like having that sense of belonging. And that's around me. That's outside of me. So that's where I never wanted to be the focal point because all I wanted to do was focus on the feeling in the community where I felt left out of.
And that's where I felt like I didn't have a seat. This is why you could be that person for someone. You could be that point of connection.
Right.
Because products don't talk, like websites don't speak. Like there is inevitably like the way that we consume media now, right, is video. And it is talking heads. And it's not dance trends. And it's not necessarily even like memes to an extent, but like memes can only get us so far, right? And this is what we just talked about before we started recording is like there is so much more depth and connection and touch points to be had when we can go just like one level deeper than just sell products, post memes, be silly. Like, and I see that potential and I know that you have that. And so it's like, if we can get there, what would that do to sales? Because my thesis is that would have a great impact on the loyalty that customers feel to your business. So that's my working thesis and I'm here to prove it.
Yeah. Amen. Or case closed.
Case closed. Mic drop.
Court adjourned.
Court adjourned. Exactly.
Yeah, I think I just have to I have to find what my voice is because I don't want to talk about me. I want to focus on what we're creating and what Dental Hygiene Nation stands for. And I haven't found that recipe yet because I think I haven't practiced because I know I'm not interesting. I don't want to talk about, I don't know. I guess
Oh,
I'm
I so
talking in
disagree.
circles.
No, but I so disagree because you are this hype person for other people. Like the way that you talk about Kim, the way that you talk about your friends at the sports seminars, like the way that you talk about your partnerships. Like you are this person. So like the logic fails if you think that you're then not interesting if you're surrounded by interesting people. Like
True.
you can't not be cool if everyone you hang out with is doing cool and interesting things. Like by osmosis, you're going to absorb some of that's going to rub off.
Yeah. I just put DHN in front of everything.
Right.
And if I can figure out a way to talk about the brand and
I
not
think you can. I think you can.
me, yeah, I just haven't figured out like, what do I talk about? What do I say?
Hey, listen, I'm always a fan of like radical transparency. You know this. I say this all the time. I'm like, just tell them what's going on. I was like, just say everything that you would say in an email. Like, just tell them to their face, this is what's going on. Like, and again, it is a muscle and it takes practice and it takes effort and it's uncomfortable and it's hard to do the things that we don't fall into naturally, right? Like, I'd love to have a bustling YouTube channel. I've edited YouTube videos. I've pulled together case study videos. They spend 6, 7, 8 hours editing to get onto YouTube. They did well. I know they're good for business. The inertia to go through all of my old projects that like deserve their own YouTube video and record them and get them pulled together stops me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just going to take so much effort and I got to pull all the visuals. It's going to take forever and it's and I know the second I do it, I'm going to feel great because I'm like, oh, did that. And I know the more I do it, the better I'll get at it. And I also know if I got really good at it, I could write an SOP and outsource it. But like, I can't, like it's the inertia of it. So like in me, like most things, in me giving advice to you, I'm really just giving advice back to myself is like, believe me, girl, I'm in the same boat. There's a list of 47 different things I'd love to do with my business that I just have not done because I have not made the time to do them, even though I know that they will positively impact the bottom line.
And to pivot too, I think my goal this year is to really make space to be creative in that department because I think I'm so heavy in ops and I have been for the last few years. And I feel like we're finally cleaning up SOP. So then when I switch gears of like out of this operational meeting to get on and be like, hi, I'm like, I just was staring at a spreadsheet for the last 10 hours. So I really like can't be my, like, I guess my fire of I've been so business oriented for the past few years that I have to create space to be that, remember who I was when I started the brand.
Yeah.
Because now it's overloaded with responsibilities and payroll, and it takes away that glimmer and that sparkle of why I started the brand because I have obligations now. I have people to feed, you know? So it kind of takes away the fun where it's hard to switch gears and just get on and talk as if you weren't staring at a spreadsheet the last 10 hours.
Yep. And I think that this might just be a factor of being in business for 10 years. I said this literally yesterday. I joined this networking group. I spent a pretty penny in this networking group I've been part of for a year. Like literally, our graduation is next month. And I was talking with some of the girls and I was like, you know, I used to be way more eager to try to get new business. I used to come to one of these things. I used to go to networking events and not leave until I talked to every single person that was there. I'd be like, hi, I'm Michelle. Here's my business card. Hi, I do this. Hi, I do that. Hi. I was like that person that was like, oh, really? What do you need help with? Can I help you? What do you want? I could do that. I could do that. I could find someone that can help you with that. Like around the whole thing. And then I think I got to a place where I was like, oh, well, now my work is going to speak for itself. Similar to you, right? Like, oh, the right people will find me. The right people will find their way to me. And I said, I don't know what it's going to take for me to get over that hump. Because the reality is most people don't really know what you do and they don't really know what you offer until you tell them. And even when you tell them the first time, they're not going to remember. You have to tell them like 17 times statistically. We know this. So I started saying this whole story and I was like, yeah, I'm just really like, these are the projects that I love. And like, these are the ones that I was like, I could kind of let go of. But I think we're coasting in this spot because everything feels unpredictable. And I just want to serve the clients that we have really well and hope that those turn into referrals. And hope that the people that we serve well then tell other people to come work with us. And as soon as I said that, the girl I was talking to was like, wait a second, I could hire you. She's like, wait a second, can you do a website? I was like, I could pull together a website. She's like, could you help with some like event stuff? And I was like, yeah. She's like, could you do merch? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, great. I think I have 3 projects for you. I was like, oh, okay. So I just had to tell the story of how I felt like I was a little bit stuck. And then all of a sudden, you're like, so I sat there for the next hour and I wrote the email and I like had her read it to send to her boss. And I was like, here, all this to say, I don't think you're alone in feeling this kind of like, I'm in the weeds. I'm on the hamster wheel. I feel responsible. It's not just a solo show anymore. And once you're in that rut of like, I have a team and the overhead and the this and the to-do lists and the blah, 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 it gets really hard to remember the like fiery, passionate, overeager 24, 5, 6-year-old who's like, hi, I'm this. This is what I do. It's like that kid's kind of like dulled. I don't know. Maybe our frontal cortex like finally fucking develops and we don't have to be so on all the time.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel that completely because it's just like, okay, wait a
Yeah.
second. This did used to be fun. So like, how can I make this fun again? Who do I want to go talk to? What's going to be a project that's going to challenge me?
Yeah, and not get on social because I know I should. And
Yes.
not like, I don't want to just block it in my schedule and not show up authentically too, because
Correct.
that's where I think
Right.
I'm struggling and procrastinating it because I don't know what it looks like to show up authentically because I just feel like my brain is not there yet. And I need to create that more space. So how do I'm fighting it. I'm definitely fighting it because I don't want to fake it. I don't want to just
Right.
do it because I know I should. I want to figure out what feels authentic and real to me and get excited to film. I want to film
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
like film like the talking reels or the TikToks.
Yeah.
And right now I like sit down, I'm like, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even know what day it is.
But I think that in
I just-
itself is worth sharing. Like that's
Right.
the content that it is. It doesn't have to be this like sunshine, rainbows, everything's amazing, da 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 da. Like, look how great we are. No. Like literally getting on because again, like you and I are relating about it right now. And the fact that we're both feeling it is also proof that other people are feeling that way. And I think you don't necessarily have to always position yourself as talking to the person that is that like quote unquote young customer, because who's to say that someone else who's like started a business 10 years ago that's in a complementary field to yours can't be like, oh my gosh, yes, like I've been waiting for someone to say it. It's the elephant in the room. Like I also feel stuck. I also don't know how to show up.
I think what's also weird is I'm living. So right now we're planning the fall box and I'm living through that. I wish I could talk about it right now. But then because we're so far out, I think it's also hard to relive things that haven't launched yet. Or I'm going through it right now and I'd love to talk about that, but I can't until it launches. So there's like a different supply chain where back then things were a little bit more in IRL.
Yeah.
Where now I don't want to spoil the surprise. So then I have to watch.
But what would it look like if you let people in on the process when it was happening, knowing that people's attention spans are that of a freaking gnat? Like, could you let people in? Could you just blur out your screen? Could you say, do you like minty green or do you like seafoam green? Here, choose. Here's a poll. Like, could you bring people on the ride? Could they then be more invested? This was my business model for so long. I went on TikTok Live and Instagram Live and I showed a logo as I was doing it.
It's how I found you. I'm like, wait, I love this.
Exactly. Because when you see the sausage get made, you're way more invested in the outcome, even if you're not a customer. It's so addicting to stand in front of a bakery and watch them roll the croissants, even if you're gluten-free and can't eat one. It's just fun. It's just fun to watch shit get made.
What if, because I'm not making the boxes, like I'm not physically like printing, like that's the cool stuff to watch. I don't think my spreadsheet is sexy to watch, like
to you, but to other people it is. For someone who's like just been scraping gunk off someone's teeth all day, they're like, damn, what is she doing? Oh, that's so interesting. Just food for thought.
Yeah.
But bring them in.
I'm a sucker for a surprise, so I don't like spoiling it because when you get it and you don't know what's coming, but not everyone's going to see the video. But
exactly.
But again, how do I want to show up? Of what do I want to talk about? That's what I have to decide. Like, what would I say to my hygiene bestie? That's what I should be talking about.
The best place that I would love for you to start is Day in My Life as Caitlyn. Just day in my life. And it doesn't need to be your personal life and it doesn't need to be what you ate for breakfast, but it's like I get up at this time, I check my emails, then I'm running the spreadsheets numbers for the fall box. I'm so excited because we have this really bougie thing that we're putting in it. And then I review design stuff. And then I spend time on social media connecting with other hygienists. Then I go to my other job, that like board seminars, and we're talking about what we want the photo backdrop to be for the 2026 season because we're going to have to launch it and da 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 da. And we have to order things 8 months in advance and all the prices increases. So we had to do just let people know what your day, because naturally people who are interested will ask follow-up questions and that then can become your content.
Okay, let me ask you, how long do you think day in the life videos take to film and edit and post? Like, put an estimated time.
20 minutes. You should spend no more than 20 minutes on it. The clips, I want you to work on getting, even if we split this up, right? That's 10 minutes of filming during your day, 7 minutes of editing, 3 minutes of posting. So back out the 3 minutes for the post. Back out the 7 minutes of the edit with the voiceover. That means for the 10 minutes throughout your day, I'm asking for 15-second clips of things that you're doing intermittently throughout the day. That could be time lapse. That could be face to camera. You're just typing on your computer. It could be looking at Pantone swatches. Each of those clips 15 seconds long. So 10 minutes, there's 60 seconds in a minute. So if there's 4 clips per minute, that's 40 clips. So you've got 40 clips. So you have 40 clips that you're sitting down at the end of the day, stringing together to create like a video that you're recording them for 15 seconds each, but really you're probably only showing like 3 seconds of a clip. That whole day in the life video is like 90 seconds max. And that's what gets posted.
Because I think I'm not that fast with editing. Because I think you also have to be
You'll get fast.
You have to be an amateur producer, and my brain does not work that way. So I think that's where I struggle.
Okay, well, start with the clips. Start with the clips. Send them to us. We'll edit it. Send it back to you, and then you do the voiceover and upload it.
That's great, but I think that's where I think a lot of business owners are having like this roadblock because you have to be a amateur producer these days.
I think you're overthinking it.
It's tough.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You could also just record it directly in the TikTok app.
I think editing videos on Instagram takes me at least when I do our...
Oh, on Instagram, it's horrendous. No, CapCut. CapCut, baby.
It takes me like an hour to do one video.
Yeah, that's not a good use of your time.
But maybe that's just me. That's why I haven't done it. That's why I don't do it.
Right. But we got to get to the point where it becomes an embedded part of your process, right? It's like, oh, get up. Like definitely the first few days that you do it, there's some like inertia involved, right? Just like I talked about the YouTube video. I'm sure people who have been YouTubing for 10 plus years can like set up their whole thing, record a YouTube video, bang it out, get the edit done and get it done in an hour. But it took them 6 years to get it to that point. So similarly, right? Like again, like I don't think we're talking about anything that's like so out of the realm, but you know, we go toe to toe. I'm going to start banning the word but from you. When I tell you something, I'm going to be like, you're not allowed to say but. Did you get that from your parents growing up? Were you this way as a child?
Persuaded?
Yeah. No, this way, like being like someone would say something.
I'm
like,
cautious.
But...
I'm very cautious. I'm cautious because I know it's important, but I feel like I can't get there. So I need to solve why I can't get there. So, and it's a lot of it's time, how, like the authenticity, like what do I say? And then the edit, like it's just to even just make a video, it feels like you hit the nail on the head. It doesn't feel like a good use of my time right now when my to-do list is already overflowing with things. And when all of that's like, so it's like hard to do the fun stuff.
Until it becomes such a part of second nature that it's adding. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not, an influencer, they don't have the payroll and not that it's a bad thing, but that's all they do is create content where I feel like I'm squeezing it in and I don't want it to be a squeezed in thing. I want it to be an authentic thing. And when it comes to scheduling that time to film, I feel like there's not enough time left in the day. But I know I need to change. I know. I don't know what to delete from my schedule to put it in.
I think this is a thing, right? This was just a suggestion of a strategy of like how to bring that community feeling. And what's the thing that we have not done that no one else can do except for you? And it is that. It is that day in the lifestyle content. Granted, maybe not the whole thing, again, but I can't talk to the camera as you. I can't sit at your desk with you and like record over your shoulder all day. So it's like, okay, if it's not that, then what could it look like? Could it look like a photo video shoot where we follow you around literally like it's an episode of The Office and you're Michael Scott and we're like doing interviews and we're also getting some like process work and then we're also showing like and illustrate what it looks like because I think, again, people want to peek behind the curtain. They want to see what makes you different from an Etsy seller or from a Target or from an Amazon or a Walmart. Like, and the way to do that is to show them. That's what I believe. It's like show instead of tell. And I think this is your whole point. Like, I want my product to speak for itself. Great. Facilitate that. Facilitate that beyond just here's the thing and here's your link to buy it, right? Like tell the story, give the why, give the insight. This is how we ended up with these Halloween designs over the last 6 years. Here's the evolution of and even if you sat down, like when they do like an architectural digest kind of video, or they have like the celebrities like rate their red carpet looks from years past. Could we do a whole video where it's like, here's every single collection from the last 6 years. And I'm going to tell you about a fun fact about each one that we never shared. Like there's so many ways. I think we're getting stuck on the one thing of you making the content. But I think there's so many ways to connect you more to the brand and more to the people and to start to get that to fuse more so that you have that direct access and you have the information that you need to make informed decisions because your people are talking to you all the time and you're talking to them. And that's what I think brands are meant to do in 2025 and beyond. That's what I think. And it's not, well, the consumer's going to do this and the economy is going to do that and the politics are going to do this. It's no, like I can access my people and they can access me. we know you can access them. I don't think they know that they can access you. And like, that may just be through a comment section in a reel or a TikTok. That is the easiest way for them to get a hold of you, right? So it's like, we got to open those channels of communication because that is your superpower. That is your why. That's your opportunity to make this bigger than yourself and let them know your team. Let them talk to the people that are answering the customer service emails. Let them get a chance to see who runs operations. Let them get to know us. Like, there's a big resistance there too, right? It's like, well, I don't want to like dispel the magic. Like, the magic is that we come up with these great ideas. Nothing works like that. Nothing works like that. Disneyland, maybe. But like, that's not reality, right? Like, that's not real. Disneyland is a corporation. It has been for 100 years. You know what I mean? Like, again, like remembering like who we are, what we're doing, who it's for. That's how we start every episode of this show. It's like who you are, what you do, and who you help, right? Like, how do we get the brand back to that? Because that, I think, is the ship that weathers the storm of all these unpredictable changes over time.
Yeah.
Capiche?
Yeah. And I'm in a change, and I have to change with this. I don't want to call it a storm, but it's a change.
It's a journey, actually, to make it corny.
I got to steer my ship another way.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But we're here to help you with that. We've worked with you guys for so long now. We work with you now on a monthly basis. You and I get to see each other once a week, which is lovely. And you keep me sharp. So I appreciate you for that because I have to think outside the box and offer counter arguments I'm not used to making. Clients are usually like, okay. And then they just get off the call and they're like, I'm not doing that. But at least you're going to be on the call being like, I'm not doing that. It's like, all right, cool. Funny.
It's like, I love all the ideas, and it definitely, it pushes me because I'm in the weeds. I'm constantly in the weeds, that it's like, I'm trying to always get ahead of time and adding one more thing. Like, oh my God, I'm like trying to get through this list of things I need to do, and now I need to add a new one, and I know I should, and I just don't know how.
Well, and I have to keep telling myself, you wouldn't keep paying our invoices and working with us if you didn't trust or like believe in at least some of the things I have to say.
Oh yeah. It's just the evolution hamster wheel. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. Like, once you feel like you're finally in a rhythm, it's like, but you can't be in that rhythm too long because now you're too comfortable. And now you got to innovate because now you're going to be stale. It's like, it's that dance. And how do you not overwork yourself and burn out?
Right. You got to find those little pockets of joy. I think you would love making content again.
Yeah.
I think if you loved it back then, you're going to love it again.
I know.
That's my working thesis.
I used to love, tweeting was my jam. If we can go back to tweeting.
Girl, threads. Hello.
I love, it was just like words to text.
Yes. Let it rip.
Like,
savage, I will always support that.
On Twitter or on
It's
X,
possible.
It is now.
It's possible. Well, where can everyone find you, follow you, see these collections, support you, maybe even like hype you up when you finally post your day in the life video? Plug yourself.
Yeah. You can find us at dentalhygienenation.com and also on all the social media channels. You can also find us at dhseminars.com for the board review side of things in all of those social media channels. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the places. And hopefully you'll see my day in the life video when this podcast comes out.
Goes live. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Caitlyn. And thanks again, everyone, for listening. If you love this episode, please send it to a friend, share, like, comment, subscribe. Still working on the sign off 5 years later, but that's okay. Thanks so much, Caitlyn. We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Thanks. See ya.